Play something first then. Dances published in Edinburgh in several volumes between 1757 and 1761. It's really far from me, so I'll try to speak up. But this collection was the beginning of really a boom of dance music publications in the late 18th century, sparking what has since been termed the kind of golden age of Scots fiddle music. Now, Robert Bremner was a publisher in Edinburgh, later became really the leading music publisher in Britain, moving to London. I think he really had this talent for being ahead of the game with finding new lucrative opportunities. And this volume was no exception. So apart from one now lost volume of minuets from the 1730s, this was the first collection of dance music published in Scotland. And I think the success of this volume was what led to there being hundreds of similar volumes over the following decades. And what I find interesting about these volumes is they're reaching out to this kind of dual audience, dual readership, both of a highly literate professional class of dance musician and an amateur market. So what we're getting is the idea that dance music isn't just for public performance, but it's making its way into kind of domestic settings. What we also see in Bremner, we have all the basic ingredients that the dance band needs. We've got tunes, we've got these simple 4-beat bass lines, and then at the bottom of each dance, we've got dance instructions. See if you can figure out what's going on there. What we'll be looking at today are the ways in which we've been using this material in concerto. Sorry, David's making, I think he's figuring out the dance instructions here. What we'll be talking about today are the ways in which we've been using this material in the Concerto Caledonia project and the Daniel Gow's dance band. So I'll be thinking about what this material tells us about the repertoire and performance practice of the 18th century dance band, and then later on we'll get a chance to try out some of these dances together. So first of all, a bit of background to the project. Bass culture in Scottish musical traditions was a 3-year research project at the Universities of Glasgow, Cambridge and the Royal Conservatoire Scotland, and was led by our very own Dr. David McGuinness. So the project sought to challenge the idea that traditional music is entirely based on melodies. So the team were searching for the kind of underlying harmonic structures of tunes, particularly looking at Highland pipe music and fiddle collections. So one of the outcomes of the project was this enormous database and digitization of these collections of dance music between 1750 and 1850. I think there's about 300 of them. And you can check out quite a lot of this on hms.scot. So where we came into the project was as one of the kind of practical outputs. So using material from these collections, we undertook a series of performances in Glasgow and London in 2015 to 16. And then we recorded this album we released in 2016 called The Daniel set out to do was to explore the sound world of the 18th century dance band, asking questions like, what was the range of repertoire of Scottish dance musicians in the 18th century? What was the lineup of the dance band and how were instruments played? And how did musical material relate to dancing and how might these be used in performance today? So I think the first striking aspect of these collections is the range of repertoire offered. So many of the individuals responsible for publishing these volumes are who we now think of as the kind of founding fathers of Scottish fiddle music. The Gow family, Robert McIntosh, William Marshall, Alexander McGlashan. But what we found in many of these collections is there was a lot of music that wasn't later accepted into the kind of official canon of Scottish fiddle music. So as well as what you might expect from fiddle collections, airs, reels, strathspeys, jigs and hornpipes, we're finding a large range of what we now think of as more English and continental forms. Minuets, allemands, cotillions, quadrilles. And this seems to have reflected what musicians were actually doing at the time. So here's a good example. This is from Alexander McGlashan's collection of, see if I get this right, Scots measures, jigs, hornpipes, allemans, cotillons, and the most fashionable country dances. So McGlashan was a fiddler in Edinburgh. He was the leader of the band at the Edinburgh Assembly Rooms in the 1780s. He was also the first fiddle teacher of Nathaniel Gow. He published 3 volumes of music. The other 2 volumes are of reels and strathspey reels. And this collection in 1781 seems to have been where he put everything else. So we have that long list of dance types. And a lot of it looks more like this. Should we play some of it? Were still being defined or negotiated. So this is what we found when we started playing this tune that you heard 5 minutes ago, the White Little Women. When we started playing it, it felt much more like a reel. We were playing it in the tempo of a reel, but then we had all of these dotted rhythms which were kind of forcing us back into a more stately strathspey feel. And then you find things like this. Mrs. Duff, Fetters and Fettersoes, strathspey. So it's nothing like a strathspey. We have the straight quavers that are more characteristic of the feel of a reel. Might sound like this. So that got us thinking, well, does it say strathspey because it's from strathspey, or is it referring to the dance type rather than necessarily a tune type, or is this an indication that these rhythms should be dotted, which might end up sounding like this? have here is a characteristic late 18th century, early 19th century dance bass line. So we've got this kind of pulsating 4-beat movement in crotchets throughout, most often based on a binary bass pattern, so 2 notes a tone apart, and then with a cadential figure at the end of each section. Now what David and the bass culture team noted was that over the past 100, 150 years, these bass lines have largely been kind of written out of the tradition. So where music from these collections has been republished, the bass lines have been left out. They're considered either too boring or written off as kind of drawing room style bass lines rather than what was being played in practice. What we found is that this attitude actually sits rather uncomfortably with the sources. For a start, there are thousands of these bass lines. Here's one example. Stole this from David's blog. This is one example that David found, John Clark's collection in Perth in 1795. What we find is for all of the reels, he has the same pattern underneath. So we've got 6 on one chord, then one bass note rather, one a note above, and then we've got this cadential figure. So it's this kind of one-size-fits-all bass pattern. And then we have this. This is Neil Stewart's collection. So Stewart was the first to imitate what Bremner was doing. Throughout the later 18th century, we find this with Robert Bremner and Neil Stewart, who are kind of rivals in Edinburgh. Every time Bremner did something, a couple of years later, you find an almost identical volume from Stewart. So what's happened here is Stewart's bass line is a little bit more active. We've got a bit more movement, still moving in crotchets throughout, but someone has gone through and scored out all of what we might think of as the kind of more interesting bits, and has reverted to this binary bass pattern. So the effect of performing these 2 bass lines is very different. So I think what we'll do is play it to you twice, one time with the fancier bass line, and then the second time with the kind of binary bass pattern. Pattern. We find that it gives that kind of lift to the feel on the second time through there. Now, what we were thinking about is how this relates to what we know about the lineup, the instrumentation in dance bands. So we know from a lot of iconographical, archival, literary references that the heart of the dance band was a fiddle and a bass fiddle or a cello. Most famously seen here in David Allen's painting, Highland Wedding at Blair Athol, around 1780. And the cello continued to be used as a dance instrument into the 19th century. And it's there that we find the first references to what the style of these cellists was. So most famously, James Scott Skinner, really the kind of most celebrated fiddler of the 19th, early 20th century. He was a dance band cellist in his youth. I think from the age of 8, he was the fiddler in Peter Moon's band. And he described in detail what life was like as a dance band cellist, particularly as a child in the 1850s, describing these long nights, often long journeys, and he would fall asleep while vamping on the cello. There's also this description, far later, 1900, but really describing what was going on 50 years before. In the old days, the cello did duty at balls and marriages for the double bass, and was carried in a green bag. Only one drone note was used at a time, and the player usually vamped, giving much character to tunes as Lord Panmure, or more famously known as Miss Lyle. And he also gives us this 2-bar example of a bass line that really looks very similar to what we're finding in these collections. Can you give us a couple bars? Yeah. Okay. Something that had been passed on to him from an elderly relative. So he said, an aunt of the writer's by marriage, Miss Grant of Balvenie House, Dufftown, remembers this characteristic cello accompaniment to the fiddle or fiddles at dances in Banshire in her youth. She describes it as a kind of accented drone. So I think this idea of an accented drone is a pretty good match for the bass lines we've been playing. And what we found in practice is that the rhythmic impulse of the style is just as important as the kind of harmonic basis. And again, Scott Skinner described this in the 1890s. So this is a letter to Gavin Gregg, 1896. He says, in Strathspey's I find a single bass note and 4 crotchets the only thing for effectiveness to make the feet go. So that leads us on to thinking about how dance has related to our project. So in the first phase of the project, we worked with a team of dancers led by Talita McKenzie. We often found that these questions we were asking about tempi, about rhythmic features, about how much to dot a rhythm, were kind of answered by working with a dancer, particularly by what stepping they were doing. But I got thinking at this point that my experience of period dancing, or playing for period dancing, has all been with expert dancers. So when we do perform them, they're done in silence, very formal, and with such a degree of expertise. So really an idea of demonstration dances. What struck me is that this is really nothing like what we know about social dancing, particularly Scottish social dancing of the 1780s onwards. And again, going to David Allen's painting, The Penny Wedding, we see something far more wild going on here. Dancing is just one part of a social occasion. We've got what looks to be people from different social classes dancing together, and also kind of different repertoire of movements going on within the same dance. So to me, this looks much more like a modern Ceilidh. In a Ceilidh today, we have music as one part of a social event. Dancers don't necessarily need any prior knowledge in order to take part. There's a relatively small range of dancers, and you always have a caller who calls the dancers through the figures. So this idea led us to this. Nathaniel Gow's dance band, Ceilidh Nights. So this was a series of dance nights in Glasgow bars that we held between December and March. I think we had half of them in the Oranmore, just down the road in the basement, and then the other half on the south side in the Black Cafe. So what we wanted to do was take the format, the kind of informal atmosphere, the sociability of a modern Ceilidh, but introduce what we've been doing in the dance band. So the range of dances, the music, the instrumental lineup, the performance practices that would have been familiar to a dance band and their audiences in the late 18th century. So our process for the nights involved working with a period dancer, the wonderfully eccentric Steve Player, who will be here doing a workshop for EARN in 3 weeks. So he would interpret the dances with his enormous range of knowledge of 16th to 18th century dance styles and dance treatises. But then alongside Steve, we had a team of Ceilidh callers, David Munn, Mary Campbell, and myself. And what we did was we took Steve's wonderfully detailed dance interpretations and turned them, really just interpreted them into something that could be called in 5 to 10 minutes on a Ceilidh night. Now the purists amongst us might be a bit horrified by this, but I actually think this is not far off what people were actually doing with 18th century dance collections. Anyone that's trying to fit the tunes and the dances together from these collections, it's a real struggle. A lot of the time the figures don't fit exactly around the music. It's not clear which part of the music fits to a figure, how many times to repeat them, etc., etc. And as late as 1816, Thomas Wilson noted exactly the same problem in his The Companions of the Ballroom. So he says, the tunes given in many of the annual publications, as they contain for the most part some too great and others too small a quantity of figure for the music to which they are set, and are very seldom found to be properly adapted to the music. So when it came to play the music for the Ceilidh nights, suddenly this two-part texture, the simple 4-beat bass lines, made complete sense. In the crowded basement of EARN Moor, as you can see in our bottom picture here, we're playing without amplification, and all you could really hear was this 4-beat bass line that everything hung together on, that all the dancers hung together on. And we were lacking, we couldn't really add a huge amount of detail in the fiddles, so we really played in unison on the tune above this. But at the same time as we were playing our Ceilidh nights, we were playing for a very different series of events at the Edinburgh Assembly Rooms. So this was a series of workshops and a costumed ball celebrating the bicentenary of Nathaniel Gow's introduction of the French quadrille to Edinburgh society in 1817. So whilst there was some overlap with the kind of music we were playing and some of the dances we were doing, we found that our performance style was completely different between these two events. I think part of this was the attitude of the dancers, the fact that we were doing a range of different types of music side by side, but I think the biggest element was just the acoustic. So you can see in the picture of the assembly rooms, or if anyone's been there, there's this wonderful musician's alcove, which adds this enormous natural amplification. And on top of that, you've got a huge acoustic in the room anyway. So there was no problem with being heard, even with our little band of, I think in one of the events we had 2 fiddles, cello, and recorder, who also played bagpipes. And the other one we added a piano. But the amount of detail we were able to add with that small lineup was completely different from when we were playing in EARN Moor. So suddenly we were able to add harmony parts in the violins, solos in some of the woodwinds, and even interesting textural details. And I think this actually matches what we know about dance bands at the assembly rooms in the early 19th century, where they didn't just have this kind of basic lineup of fiddle and cello, but were expanding to include woodwinds, even horns. One case of a tambourine making its way in there. So the other interesting thing that happened was we started to have a bit of overlap between our audiences. There were certain members of the audience of the quadrille events that turned up to the Ceilidh nights. So I think what ended up happening we had this large range of expertise. What we found was that the dance figures were holding everyone together. Everyone was basically doing what we were calling. But there were these different levels of really ornamentation, of improvisation with footwork or stepping. And indeed, I don't think it was far off what's happening here, where we've got this different range of movements with different couples within one dance. So I think that's probably a cue to try out some dancing. So this first dance rather, it's called John Anderson, My Joe. You're each going to need to find a partner and then team up with another couple. Come on. Okay, so this is a dance called John Anderson, My Joe. It's actually the earliest dance in any, as far as I know, earliest country dance in any Scottish source. So it's actually from a manuscript dated 1704. predominantly compiled for or by a young lady called Agnes Hume, but as is the case with most of these manuscripts, put to various different uses. So we've got songs, fiddle tunes, and then there's one dance. So the way these country dances work, we always have a line of guys facing a line of ladies. So we have all of the ladies on this side, all of the gents facing them on this side. You want to be facing your partner within your four. Yeah, so one of you guys is going to be a lady today. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's get a bit closer together. So we're going to try this dance two different ways. One is just in our sets of two couples, and then we're going to do a progressive version, which we call a long ways version of the dance. Okay, we always have a top couple in a set when we're doing these dances. But what happens is, if you're in an individual set, you'll swap places with someone by the end of the dance. Okay? So the top couple are always the couple closest to this wall. So hands up, top couples in your set of two couples. Yeah, very good. Okay, so the dance starts. The first man is going to turn to the second woman. You're going to turn her by the right arm and then go back to your place. You've got 8 counts to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to your place. First man and second woman.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The first man.
You're the second woman. Just one turn and back to your place. You've got 8 counts to do. Okay? And next, the first lady is going to do the same with the second man. So turn, 2, 3, 4, back to your place. Okay, the next part of the dance, it says back 4, which really means you take 3 steps backwards. So 1, 2, 3. And then you've got a count of 4 to swap places with your partner. There's a nice way of doing this, which involves doing this. You've got to be quite quick about it. Maybe make your steps quite small steps when you do them go back. So let's try our 4 steps back and then swapping places. So 3 steps back now. So and back, 2, 3, swapping places. Okay. Right. Last part of the dance. Take hands in your 4. I want you to look at the person across from you. We're going to be doing a circle to the left for 8 counts, but you're going to be taking their place. It's only a half turn, so you're going to get there quite early. Let's try that. And round, 2, 3, 4, in third place. Fantastic. If that went according to plan, which it did with this team, so I'm obviously doing something right. If it went according to plan, what we should have, you're on your own line, but you've swapped places with first and second couple. Hasn't quite happened over here. Okay, well, go back to where were you when you started? Okay. Let's go back. It's quite complicated, so let's go back to where we started the dance. It's a really short dance, and we'll try and get the last bit right this time. Okay, first man, you're going to turn the second lady. So, and 1, 2, 3, 4. First lady, and right arm, and back to your place. So, 3 steps back, swapping sides. Okay, stop there. Right. Everyone's going to take hands in a circle. You're doing a half turn. So if you look at the person right across from you, that's where you're going to end up. Okay? You've got 8 counts to get there, so you're probably going to get there early. Okay, so and left, 2, 3, 4. Ready to start again. Okay, that looks right now, guys. Yeah, that's right. So what should have happened, as if by magic, is we now are in the opposite way around to where we started. You're still on your own line, but we've got a new top couple. Can we try that one time through, a little bit slower than maybe we're going to do, and I'll call you through what we're doing. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Right arm. Back to your place. First woman. Right arm. Back to your place. And 3 steps back. Swapping sides. Getting ready. Circle to the left. Ready to start again. First man. Back to your place. And 3 steps back. means that you're going to be dancing with everyone, essentially. So you're always going to stay with your partner, but you're going to be making your way one way or the other at the end of the dance. Don't worry. Let's just do the dance from the beginning, and I'm going to tell you where we're going to go at the end. So, from the top, ready with your right arm, and right. And right arm first one. Get ready, and 3 steps back. Round. Stop. Okay, people that were first couple last time round, you are still first couples. So hands up, those people. Should be three couples. Yeah, so one's on the end as well. Yeah, great. So what happens? You're going to do the dance again, but forget about the people you were just dancing with and look the other way. So you see what's happening? So we've got a new set here, and then a new set here. Now, no, stay where you are. So what happens is we've got one couple on either side that are not doing anything for one time through the dance. It's a pretty short dance, so don't worry. But you probably can't tell on old cameras and stuff, but it says up here, make sure there's time for each couple to take a drink. So the idea is that you've got time at the end to go and take a drink. Maybe let's not do that, because if you're not here, the dance will probably fall apart. So what happens is, if you start here as a first couple, you end up here, dancing with people, end up here, you dance on another set, and so on, until you get to this end. At that point, you've got one time through the dance off. And then someone's going to arrive, a new first couple will arrive, and you're going to do the dance. You'll end up making your way over this way each time, until you're over that side. And then you become a first couple again. Do you see how that works? You shift into first and second couple. Okay, it'll all make sense, and if it doesn't, we'll start again. Okay, let's just start off. First couple here, first couple, and first couple. Yeah? So just as if we've got normal, we're starting off normal, but you're going to keep going as first couples. Yeah, so hands up, first couples. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's start off. Should we do it properly with the intro? 1, 2, 3. Right arm. This way. When you get to the end, you wait once and then you move back as a second couple. I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so we've just done the dance. We're turning the right arm. And I'll just leave you out of the way for a minute. Okay, then we do our back, swapping sides, turning rounds. Okay, I'm still the first couple, but I'm going to turn to the next lady. So, right arm. So on.
So then you take a break.
Yeah, they take a break. Here, here.
Yeah.
3 steps back, swapping sides, and then turning around. Now, you have a new second couple, so you're now a first couple. Is that making sense? Yeah. We're going to go for it, hope for the best, and something chaotic will probably go. Okay, so starting the dance, we'll think again, first couple, first couple, first couple. So you guys will end up on that side. Okay. That was going to work, and I think it did famously by the end. Okay, let's go for an easier dance. So find yourselves a partner and get yourselves into sets of 6 people. So can we can just about, yeah, we can do this. Perfect. Okay, but let's mix things up a bit. Find yourselves a different partner. This is a dance called Vertigo. Rather ominous name there. We took a tune from Alexander McGlashan's collection, so this is the collection of everything else. And we found a dance in a London collection, Richard Wright's favourite collection of 200 select country dances. Possibly a French country dance since it's called Le Vertigo, not sure. Now there was a little bit of kind of translating we needed to do between the sources, because as you'll note, the A part in The Bride is only 4 bars long, whereas we've got an 8-bar phrase in McGlashan, which I think works rather better. So you don't need to worry about that, but I've worked in a little repeat so that it works with the tune. So again, we've got our top couple is closest to this wall in E, but you're not going to be progressing on, you're just going to be dancing with these 6 people in this dance. By the time you've gone through the dance once, this couple should be in the place of the 3rd couple. So everyone gets a chance to be first couple. Okay, so the first thing we do, you're going to cast off. Now when you're casting off, you're moving behind your own line, and you always move from the outside shoulder. So you're going to move like this, and go behind your own line. However, we're only going to cast off one place. So it's going to look like this, casting off into the middle of the set. So should we try that? This is the top couple are both doing this. So 3, 4, cast off into the middle. Okay, you've only got 4 counts to do that, so you've got to be quite quick. When you're in the middle, whenever someone's cast off into the middle, make sure that the people that are taking their place kind of shuffle up to the top. When you get to the middle, you're going to set to your partner. Now, when you see things like set or footing it, there are various different options you can do. Something kind of improvisatory with your feet. The simplest option is just to do a bounce and a kick with the right foot, and then a bounce and a kick with the left foot. So should we try that? So and bounce, kick, kick. Okay, officially it's just the top couple that are doing this, but it won't be the end of the world if you all are doing it. Okay, so top couple have just done that. Second couple should be in their place. You're now going to do exactly the same thing. So you're going to cast off and then bounce, kick, bounce, kick. So we've got 4 counts for each. Let's try that in time. So and cast off, bounce, kick, fantastic. And now, as I promised, we've got a repeat, so we're going to do all of that again. So first couple are going to do it, then second. Okay, so let's try that. So in time, 3, 4. Cast off. Bounce, kick, cast off. Bounce, kick, kick. Okay, the next part of the dance I like to think of as being kind of 4 chunks. So what you're first going to do is leading through your set. So you're both going to face down this way and you're going to lead through to the bottom. So take your partner's hands. You're going to walk through to the bottom in 4 counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. Now you're going to cast up the set. So casting off, we're going the other way, into the middle. Again, 4 counts. So cast off and go back into the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Meet your partner in the middle and you're going to lead up to the top. So up to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. So can you see how that figure works? It makes this beautiful shape. You're going through and round and up. So the last part of the dance. So I got this right. Give me a sec.
Did we go the wrong way the first time? Or did we go down there?
The first time was the middle.
Okay, we've got one more thing to do within that. This is what I like to think of as the vertigo moment. Now you've got to cast up all the way to the bottom. You've only got 4 counts to do it. So try that. So and cast off to the bottom. 3, 4. So you've really got to rush through that part. Okay? Final part of the dance. We take hands in a circle. We're going to be going to the left. This time, have a look at where you are in the circle right now. Because this is going to be a full turn. We're going to make our way back to where we are. But we've got a full 16 counts to do it. So you're probably going to be there early. So let's try that. So, left, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. So, I don't know, you guys seem to manage actually making small steps, dainty steps and getting there. What should have happened, first couple should be at the bottom now. I think that's happened. So we've got a new top couple. So let's just try walking it through this way. So with a new top couple, we're going to be casting off, setting, casting off, setting. We do all of that again. So we've got that 4-part figure, which goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, and all the way to the bottom. And then we're going around for 60 backs like this. We try doing it. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast off. Bounce, kick, cast off. Again. Bounce, kick, cast off. First couple's getting ready. Lead down. Cast up. Up to the top. All the way to the bottom. 3, 4. Round, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A new top couple. Cast off. Cast off. Bounce, kick, cast off. Bounce, kick, cast off. Bounce, kick, top couple, lead down. Cast off. Up to the top. And all the way to the bottom. And left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. New top couple. Cast off. Bounce, kick, cast off. Bounce, kick, cast off. Bounce, kick, cast off. Bounce, kick, top couple down. Up. To the middle. All the way to the bottom. Get to the bottom. 4. Round, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. New top couple. Cast off. Bounce, kick. Cast off. Bounce, kick. Cast off again. Bounce, kick. Bounce. Bounce, kick. Get ready to go down. Down. 2, 3, 4. Cast up. 2, 3, 4. Up to the top. And all the way to the bottom. And left. means you won't have me shouting at you quite as much. Maybe that's for the best. Brandon, why don't we make our way...
Workshop, people watching online.
Okay, so we have you guys are with us. 1, 2 couples, 1, 2. So this hopefully will work the same way we did the first count. So we're going to have sets of 2 couples to start with, and depending on how it goes, we might try the progressive version. So this is from a collection by John Johnson, Caledonian Country Dances, published in London around 1750. So a bit earlier than actually most of the other stuff we're looking at. John Johnson might have actually been Scottish, but certainly these are at least saying that they're Scottish. What we have here is Damla Burn Davy, which was a popular Scots tune, finds its way into all kinds of collections in Scotland, but almost never for dancing. We also have a very different type of bass line. This bass line looks much more like the kind of Italianate, flowing figure bass lines you get in Scots tune collections rather than dance collections. So we've taken this to mean that this is a slightly more sedate dance. So the way the dance works, we're all going to start facing this direction. So maybe actually, could we all take a couple of steps that way so we've got some space this side? Fantastic. Okay? You're holding your partner's hands. I'll leave it up to you how you want to do this. You can do this. If you're posh, you can do this. Elizabeth automatically do this. Okay? We're going to be walking towards this wall. The basic step for this entire dance looks like this. We go 1, 2, 3, pause, and then left, right, left, pause. We do the same thing backwards. Right, left, right, pause, left, right, left, pause. We're going to do all of that again. So, right, left, right, pause, left, right, right, easy so far, okay? Like we did with the first dance we did, showing us my joke, the first gentleman is going to face the second lady. Okay? I love this part of the dance. It says to walk towards the second lady and salute. What we took this to mean was 1 bar walking towards, so we do right, left, right, and then just the gentleman's doing this, and then bowing for a bar. And then you're going to take them by the right arm, 2, 3, 4, back to your place. The important thing to note there is we know what we're doing with each of our bars. We're going forward for a bar, we're then bowing for a bar, turning by the right arm for a bar, back to a place. Okay? First woman, you're going to do the same thing for the second one. So let's try that. So, forward, 2, 3, and curtsy, 2, 3. Turn it by the right arm, and back to your place. Okay, the next part of the dance, it says, the first man and the second woman go back to back. So anyone that's done any Cayley dancing, or country dancing, this is a do-za-do or a do-za-do. So you end up going back to back with the second woman, and then back to your place. Now, again, I like to think of this in 4 little sections. So we're doing a diamond shape around each other. So if we both do this, we both move to the left first for 1 bar. So 1, 2, 3. Into their place for 1 bar. 1, 2, 3. Moving backwards, don't turn around. And now moving backwards. 1, 2, 3. Back into your own place. 1, 2, 3. You can keep, if you want to be really creepy, try and maintain eye contact with the person for as long as you can. Okay, and now you guessed it, the first woman and the second man are going to do that. So to the left, 2, 3, into their place, 2, 3, moving backwards to the right, back to your own place, 2, 3. That's it. This is my favourite part of the dance. The 2 gentlemen face each other, the 2 ladies face each other. We're going to be clapping hands like a kind of high 10. What happens is the gentlemen clap on 1 and 2, the ladies then do 3 and 4. So let's try that. So gentlemen, and clap, 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 clap. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, make sure that you're near your partner because we're going to be doing the same thing, clapping. This time, the first couple are going to be clapping on 1 and 2, the second couple on 3 and 4. Should we try that? So ready, first couple, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, final part of the dance. First couple, you're going to cast off into the place of the second couple. The second couple, you need to kind of move on while they do that. So now we have a new top couple, and we've got a new second couple. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. Let's do it once. I'll attempt to talk you through it while I'm dancing, which you might struggle with. Okay, so quickly, before we dance it, the first thing that happens, we process forward, process back, process forward, process back. Then, first man goes and bows, turns by the right arm. First woman does the same with the second man. Then we do our dos a do in 4 parts. The first lady does the same with the second man. We then have the 2 men clapping, 2 women clapping, turn on the spot. First couple clap, clap, second couple clap, clap, and then we cast off so we swap sides. Just like that. Let's do a slow version and I'll keep shouting while we're doing it. Right, couple, we're still a first couple. But we've got some new friends. We've got some new friends here. And that's our new step we're dancing with the next time through the dance. The way it gets complicated is you've got to remember that because you're not dancing with them immediately. So when you cast off, make contact with them, say hello very briefly, and then we're going to start processing again. So you've got to remember that you're still the first couple and you're going to be dancing. Again, every 2 times through the dance, we'll have people waiting on either side and doing nothing. You can still do the beginning of the dance. And in your head, you're getting ready, going, I am now a first couple if you're on this side, or I am now a second couple if I'm on that side, looking who you're going to be dancing with. Yeah? It's going to be not the next people in line, but one of them. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to stop shouting. Let's see what happens. Maybe a little bit slower.
So you'll notice that this is a slip jig. So it means we're thinking now, instead of fours, we're thinking in three. Seems really simple. I think a lot of the time we need a moment to get our brains and our feet working together. So let's try, first of all, before we do the dance, just try walking in threes, thinking right, left, right, left, right, left. Join in. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and right. And left. And right. And left. And right. Left. And right. 3 and left. 3 and right. 2, 3 and left. 3 and left. Okay. We haven't had any fancy footwork yet, so if you do feel like you want to, you can add in a travelling step. So you can go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 1. Shall I explain this to you? Okay. So I'm just doing right, left, right, but I'm putting my left behind my right when I do it. So right, left, right. And then I'm doing a jump, and while I do that, my left foot's coming out. So left, right, left, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 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 and 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay. Now that's a step. If it's in 4, it's called the Kamshu. When we were working with Steve, he took a lot of the kind of Highland steps from a collection in the early 19th century by a dancing master in Aberdeen called Francis Peacock. So if it's in 4, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. But what we've done, we've just translated that by adding that fourth beat. Instead, we're doing as an upbeat. So we're going 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 1. Once you start doing the dance, you won't be able to forget all about this. If at any point in the dance you feel inspired when you're moving around and to add something like that, feel free. Let's go back to our original groups of 6. Okay, so this dance starts very similar to vertigo. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to cast off to the middle, first couple. We've only got to count 3 to do it. So and 1, 2, 3. Next thing we're going to do, you should have ended up in the middle there, first couples. Next thing, you're going to do a right hand star with the third couple. So everyone put their right hand in. So just the top couple and the third couple. That's it? You guys are right? The top couple are in the middle, remember? And the bottom couple. And we're going to now, we've got 9 counts to go around that to get back to our place. And 1, 2, 3. So you should end up back in the middle there. So top couple, you guys are in the middle at the moment. You're now going to do all of that in reverse. So we're going to cast up to the top and then do a left hand star. So ready? 1, 2, 3, and then a left hand star with the second couple. A 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, back to the place. Very good. Okay, the next part of the dance. So we've got up here, it says, cross over one couple and lead up to the top. Looks like 2 things. I like to think of this as 4 things each of a count of 3. So the first thing that we do is we cross over, which is swapping places with our partner. So 1, 2, 3. Without turning round, go round the next person in line. 1, 2, 3. Then meet your partner in the middle. 1, 2, 3. And up to the top. 1, 2, 3. So where you should now be is you're at the top, but you're on the wrong side. The final part of the dance, we're going to cast off all the way to the bottom for a count of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We need a way to get ourselves back to the other side. So we're going to turn, but it's going to be a half turn. So 1, 2, 3, back to our left. So you should now be at the bottom of the set. Let's do that one step at a time. There's really 2 figures happening here. The first one looks like this. We go round, in, up. The second figure, we go down to the bottom, we turn our partner, go back into our own line. So 2 figures. You guys can try this as well. Okay, so first of all, swap sides for count of 3. So and 1, 2, 3. You've got to be quite quick about this. Don't worry too much about taking each other's hands. Then you're going to cast off into the middle. 2, 3. Meet in the middle. 2, 3. So meet the partner in the middle. And then go up to the top. 2, 3. Okay, now you've got 6 counts to cast onto the bottom. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you can turn your partner on half turn. 1, 3. Back to replace. Next people in the line, let's try that as well, just so you've had a chance to do that. So let's try it all in a 1. So at this speed. So 1, 2, and cross over. Cast off. Meet in the middle. Up to the top. All the way to the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn. And back to your own line. Yeah? Simple. Okay. Let's try once through the whole dance, but at this speed. So remember, the first thing we do, we cast off. Okay? You guys haven't done it yet, do you? Hand runs. Yeah, you did. So we cast off. Hands round. Yeah. And then we're going to cast back up. Hands around on the left. Then, where am I? Yeah, so then we swap sides. Go round. In. Up. All the way down. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Swap sides. That's the dance. So can we try that slowly? Checking I haven't forgotten anything. So ready to cast off. So 1, 2, 3. Cast off. And right hands. Cast up. 2, 3. And left hands. Cast down.